Welcome back to the Commanders Declassified podcast, your home for all things Washington Commanders, season 9. I think this is episode like 5. The Commanders are 2-2 coming off their loss at Atlanta. You probably heard all about it by now. Tonight, we're going to focus on the Chargers and some recent moves that the Commanders made. But I always like to get my guys' feedback on what they thought about the game that we just played the prior week. So, Eric, give me your succinct thoughts on the Atlanta game.
Oh man, it was bad. It wasn't good at any. There was no phase of the game that worked. But end of the day, the offense put 27 points on the board, and the defense, and they lost. So I can't really put it on the offense. Although we do miss Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, I just can't put that loss on the offense. The defense just has never seen motion before. If you watch them, they just don't understand how to handle when receivers go in motion. I understand that's a new thing. It's never really been done before this year in the NFL, but wide receivers sometimes go in motion, and this team should learn how to handle that because it's apparently a brand new concept to them.
Yeah, something's got to change. This shouldn't be fooling us at this point in the season. Mike, what are your thoughts on that Atlanta game?
I'm gonna just continue with the defense. I really didn't have much problems with the offense, but the defense was just ridiculous. It was a play that was going around, I think, in the third quarter, 3rd and 2. A screenshot video was going around, and the reason it went around was because the coverage was so awful for it to be 3rd and 2 before the play start. You see that Bijan Robinson, or Bijan, I'm sorry, is wide open on 3rd and 2. There's not a defender within 7 yards of him, and he's the one that gets the completion. But when you look further into the play, the running back out the back, the other running back out the backfield was wide open with players like 10 yards away from him. Also, the scramble was open on the play. So it was just ridiculous 3rd and 2 play, and that one play kind of defines the whole season for me so far. For a team that's supposed to be led by defensive coaches and Dan Quinn and Joe Witt and Ken Norton and Daryl Tapp and Ryan Kerrigan, y'all talk about them so much during the offseason. I memorized the daggone defensive roster. Ike Taylor, I'm sorry. You got a lot of defensive coaches, but you're looking like cheeks so far the first couple of weeks. And if you don't fix it, you're going to ruin what I feel like could be a good season, because the offense has been cooking and they continue to look okay. Even in their worst game of the season, they still almost put up 20 points. So, yeah, I'm not concerned about the offense. They'll be okay. They're not the ones that's struggling. It's the defensive team, the defensive side of the ball that's struggling. And like I said, the defensive coaches are the reason that they're struggling, and they need to fix it immediately.
And I think the thing that we're not saying is they're also not creating turnovers, which helps everything. You can be a bad defense, but create turnovers and be an effective defense. They're not doing that right now.
Hold on real quick. I will give them this. As frustrating as a mug, I'll give them this. The ball has come out a lot. The ball has been vulnerable in the air a lot. But for some reason, they are not coming away with the ball. I think every game so far, they forced a fumble. It did not recover the fumble.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, man. What is going on with this entire defense right now? It's just either it's curse or they're not doing well enough coaching or performance-wise. And like I said, it needs to be fixed immediately. Like, that was the reason we lost the championship game for the most part. It was the turnovers and the defense. And the defense is looking worse.
Way back in August when the secondary, everybody was like, these guys look amazing. This is going to be a strength of our team. How's that working out for us so far?
I heard
not so much.
I heard this.
I guess when you're not going against Cliff Kingsbury doesn't run any motion in practice, and they don't understand. They don't have to deal with that. But they look great. They look great in preseason. But the regular season are the games that count, and not so much.
Somebody brought up a really good point around this, and I want to credit where I read it or heard it. But the receivers, the cornerbacks in training camp weren't going against Terry McLaurin because he wasn't there, right? So they look great against backup wide receivers. And of course, they better look good against Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane and what's the guy's name? Not Kobe Bryant, but Chris Bryant, whatever that guy's name was that doesn't play. And Moore and all. Like, that's the problem, is that there were unrealistic expectations based on people not being around. And I think we're just in a place now where we have to figure out what we can do. I hate that we're always to this point in our seasons with our defenses where it's like, how can the coach adjust and make things more simple? Or how can the coach change this player out and that player out to get us to be a better defense? Why can't it just work out with the personnel that we have and the calls that we're making? It kind of exposes the fact that our defensive roster is not, it has a little depth to it, but it doesn't really have a lot of high-end players that are difference makers on it. And that's what we're missing. We're missing defensive makers on the defensive, difference makers on the defensive line at edge rusher in particular. At linebacker, I don't know that we have difference makers other than playing against the run in some capacity. Secondary, who's our difference maker? And yes, Amos has been good, but in order to be a difference maker, you got to come down with the ball. You got to get turnovers. And then don't get me started at safety. That's a whole other mess. So how we're going to fix it, I don't know. I hate that we're here in week 5, but it's not great. It's not great. All right. We're going to change gears. Obviously, we're going to put that Atlanta game behind us because we have to, and we're on to San Diego. We play this week in San Diego. And I was thinking,
Two times you said San Diego.
What did I say? What I mean, Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Thank you for correcting me, because I know
they should be the San Diego Chargers. Spanos family, move back to San Diego. It's where you belong.
That's right. And San Diego, your baseball team sucks. No, but shout out to Manny Machado. I kid. But yes, I'm so glad you said that, because I was just going to ride with San Diego for the rest of this episode. Los Angeles, the Chargers. Eric, this is for you, man. Their offense is pretty stacked. They got Justin Herbert, Omarion Hampton, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson's playing out of this world, Keenan Allen, Will Dissly, Joe Alt will be out. Their guards are Zion Johnson and Mekhi Becton, Bradley Bozeman, Trey Pipkins III. I think Pipkins is also out too, correct? Their right tackle. I forget. But offensively, what do you see in that roster and that depth that they have on offense? And how do you think that they're going to attack us? And what makes you the most nervous going against that offense?
What I like is that I believe Rashawn Slater is their starting left tackle, and he's injured. And they moved Joe Alt over to left tackle, and he got injured. So the left tackle is a position of weakness right now. Trey Pipkins III is playing this week at right tackle, but he is the basically third string. I guess he's the second string right tackle. But they are, Rashawn Slater is on injured reserve. Joe Alt has a high ankle sprain. He is doubtful for the game. But what a difference a year makes, because last year everybody was talking about Quentin Johnson being a bust, and this year he's just slaying everybody. It starts at the quarterback position with any team, really. And the Chargers have a good one. They have Justin Herbert. Say what you will about his performances in the playoffs. In the regular season, he's been a pretty effective quarterback. He's got as good an arm as anybody in the NFL. He is a mobile quarterback, and he can make things happen. And he's got weapons around him in McConkey, Quentin Johnson. Keenan Allen is, in his 87-year-old self, is still out there. Keenan Allen, always been one of my favorite players, and we're hairline bros, so I got to give him props on that, but he was getting old. But this offense, and we saw the kind of coming out party for Omarion Hampton last week. He had a huge game against the Giants in that loss. But the silver lining here is what I just said, is that they just lost to the Giants. So obviously there are some things that can be exploited against this offense. The weakness, the protection on the edges is not as strong as it would normally be with those two stud left tackles. Those are two all-pro level left tackles that they're missing. If only we had pass rushers to exploit that. But we'll see. We'll see if something like that happens this week. But this is a team. This is a high-powered offense. Justin Herbert is a very good quarterback. So we'll have to see what happens, but the passing attack and the rushing attack, this is a pretty balanced offense. So as long as that offensive line can hold up, this offense can have a lot of success against this defense. This Commanders defense that has struggled, and I am sure that they watched some film, and there will be a heavy motion, especially like that late motion, like right before the snap, that Washington really seems to struggle with communication or picking things up. They're going to keep doing it till you stop it, and the Chargers have the guys that can do it. They have the guys that can execute. So this could be a very long week for the Commanders defense if they don't get things together.
Yeah, and the Chargers beat themselves against the Giants with penalties and back-breaking, boneheaded plays, but that undisciplined play could be a factor this week too. Now, remember the Chargers played on the East Coast, which they don't traditionally do well. We're going to be on the West Coast this week, so I would expect them to be at their best. Mike, if you're Joe Witt, what concerns you about this offense? What are you doing about it, or what can we do about it, if anything?
This week, they pretty much it's the three-headed wide receiver and the running back. It's a lot to deal with. One may argue that their weapons are better than what Atlanta was rolling with last week. And you see how the defense performed against them. So if I am Joe Witt, I'll be struggling right now. I'll be stressing out, honestly, trying to figure out how can I stop this offense when I couldn't stop a similar type offense. Well, not similar as a scheme, but similar as in pieces. I couldn't stop the offense a week ago. They put 34 in my head and probably could have put 50 if they wanted to up on us. So I would say the most important thing is just communication. It just seemed like they're not communicating well post and pre-snap, and that's what's causing a gap. It happened on the first drive. Kyle Pitts got wide open up the side on the field, and I'm like, how can this happen this early, this quickly? Like, why does it seem like this team, out of all the 31 teams in the NFL, seem to have the most blown coverages every freaking season? And like I said, with the staff being who they are, you expect better from them. And like I said, it needs to come immediately. That's the word of the week, immediately, when it comes to the defense. Deliver immediately.
And you're giving up touchdowns to Kyle Pitts. That guy's allergic to the end zone, and you give up things are bad when Kyle Pitts is scoring.
You knew it was going to happen. You know I put a little something down on the anytime for Kyle Pitts last week. Had to. You had
Terrible.
to.
Cash money. All right. So, Eric, defensively, the Chargers feature Deshaun Hand as their left defensive end. Their
DMV
nose tackle is, yes, sir, Tier Tart. Otito Agbonia is the right defensive end. They got, Tuli Tupelotu. They got Henley, Troy Dye, Bud Dupree. They're a 4-3 difference, by the way. They got Dante Jackson, Derwin James, Gilman, Hart, and Still as their nickelback. So in a 3-4 base, did I say 4-3? They're a 3-4 base defense. Not too many like no names, but Derwin James is always lurking, and Derwin James is a phenomenal football player when he's healthy, and he seems to be healthy so far this year. Eric, Cliff Kingsbury, what's he going to do to combat this defensive attack from Los Angeles?
Well, he should be running the ball. 3-4 is traditionally tough to run against, but Washington's strength right now is the run game. And if Jayden Daniels is healthy, which I believe he will be this week, that'll contribute to it. But this offense has to run the ball first, especially if Terry McLaurin isn't healthy yet, because there just aren't enough weapons on the outside right now for this team to succeed as like a pass first offense. So you've got to run the ball. And I think the Chargers kind of do well against stopping the run, but they let Cam Scattaboo have a kind of run. I mean, he had about 75 yards, but yeah, solid game. His best game as a pro against them. So I think there are some holes there to exploit, and I think Washington needs to focus on the run game. And then you're going to see a lot, the downfield passing game just isn't there for Washington without Terry McLaurin. There's just nobody that can get open downfield. It doesn't seem like they got to fix that because if you don't present a threat downfield, they're going to do what the Packers did and keep everything in front, and it's going to be a long day for you. So somebody, Jalen Lane, send Debo Samuel deep, send McCaffrey deep. He's got a touchdown 2 straight games. Get somebody deep. At least take a couple of deep shots. I am so sorry I sneezed. I'm allergic to bad football, and that's what I watched this week, so I apologize. But yeah, I mean, you've got to at least present a threat of a deep passing game to have success in the run game. It's got to be there. It doesn't mean it has to be a staple of your offense, but you've got to take a couple of shots a game. Jayden Daniels is a better deep passer than Marcus Mariota is, so hopefully we'll have a shot at that. But we need to get a little bit of that. But I think you've got to be a run-first offense with the occasional deep shot. And, of course, you're going to see a lot of wide receiver bubble screens and quick hits that Cliff Kingsbury loves to do. But, yeah, as long as things revolve around the run game, unfortunately, you couldn't really get into that against Atlanta because you were in 1st and 30 half the time because of the bad penalties. So if you can, stay ahead of the chains, use the run game to your advantage, I think that's your best chance of success this week against the Chargers.
Yeah, my biggest criticism of the Cliff Kingsbury offense is, number one, that pistol run, which we complained about with Scott Turner. So it's only right we complain about it with Cliff Kingsbury. Number two, it's the lack of commitment and letting these running backs get into a rhythm running the football. We have yet to see that. And I really think that, didn't Rodriguez on the first drive have something like a 40-something yard run against Atlanta? And then it was like we kind of got away from the run. Man, I love the fact that we're giving a lot of backs touches, but give one guy the hot hand. I don't care who it is. Give him like 13 carries and a half. If it's within one touchdown, why do we automatically think we're behind? We got to throw. If we're behind by 3 points, we got to throw. When we're effectively running the football, and I agree with you about the penalties, but I mean, if we're averaging 7 yards a clip, if it's 1st and 15, we can get that back in 2 carries, right? Based on that way. And I know it's not that simple, but please commit to the run. And Scadaboo averaged like 3.3 yards a carry, but he was effective last week, right? They don't win without him. So just, you don't have to look for gaudy numbers, look for commitment, and then run play action off of it. Our play action game would be so much better if we just committed to running the football. Mike, you know what our offense is bringing to the table? If you're Jim Harbaugh and his defensive staff, what are you thinking when you're getting ready to face this Commanders offense, assuming that Jayden Daniels is back?
I would look at the Green Bay film and do what they're doing, or at least try to do what they're doing. I would run a lot of zone defenses with a quarterback spy. It seems to stifle him. The only problem is that the Chargers don't have a quarterback. I'm sorry. They don't have a player like Parsons on their team to harass Daniels if he does escape the pocket or whatever. So it'll be hard to mimic, but I feel like that's the thing. And like everyone was saying, that teams have tape on Daniels now, so they have a suspect performance so far in the 2025 season with this game versus the Packers. And I would just study that film and do what they did. A lot of zone with a lot of spine and heavy pressure with just the 4. And that's the key. You got to rush just the 4. If you're blitzing them, you're getting cooked. I'm telling you that. I've seen it. It happened so far this season too. Anytime he's getting blitz, he's going to find a way to get the ball out or escape the pocket or whatever. But if you can do 4 and force the coverage to be an extra rusher per se, then yeah, it'll work. But if you try to run man against this team, against this quarterback, good luck.
Yeah. I think you got to establish Terry early on too. Derwin James is going to be in the box a lot as a strong safety.
Has there been an update on Terry? I don't think he's playing.
I'm praying he plays. I'm speaking this into existence.
The way they were talking, I don't think he's playing this week.
Oh, man, you're right. I'm speaking this into existence. For some reason, I thought I saw an update earlier on Terry, but I realized that was on Jayden. Jayden likely to play, not Terry. So, and John Bates was John Bates, the other one. So now that if we
easy
Terry
to confuse those two for sure.
Well, it is. If Terry doesn't go, which it looks like he's trending to not go in that direction, then we have Jalen Lane and we have Debo. I don't want to see the end around with Debo early on. I want to see them establish Debo on slants, crossing routes, things like that, and then get the running game going. Just trust the run game. I actually don't even want to see Jayden that big a part of the running game in the early parts of the game, unless he has to be, right? And Derwin James is a heck of an athlete in the box, and I think that he has speed to match Jayden. Especially on some of those wide carries that he has. But I'm fine with some RPO stuff, but let's not commit to that. Yes, Terry is trending to not play, but we'll get an update later in the week from Dan Quinn. So I was just wishful thinking, man. I was thinking about how we could beat this team, and it was going to be with Terry and Jayden and the whole crew, and not all of them are going to be there. Womp womp. That sucks. All right, Eric, score predictions, and tell me how you think this plays out.
Yeah, I don't like this week at all. Traveling across country, going out to LA. Defense is struggling. You've got a team with a really strong rushing attack and a very capable quarterback. I think this is going to be a long week for Washington. I don't like this prediction. Jayden coming back, probably going to help some, but I'm going to take the Chargers in this one, and we'll go 26-17.
You're taking the opposition? Come on, Eric.
Taking the Chargers.
All right. Mike, what's your prediction?
Well, unfortunately, bro, we're going 2 for 2 with the opposition. I just feel like I can't trust the defense. We're already back to the point where I can't pick us to win games because I can't trust the defensive side of the ball. And it sucks because for the 5th time this episode, I'm telling y'all, I am disappointed that a Dan Quinn-led team is struggling defensively. Like, it's just not supposed to happen. So for that, my score prediction, the Mike from Southwest special, of course, 20-24 LA Chargers.
What if I told you guys that the Chargers were a bit of frauds in terms of their record to this point in the season? Would you believe me?
No,
when you look at it,
guess. Go ahead.
Think about who they played. I mean, they played the Chiefs week 1. Chiefs were really off.
They beat the Chiefs.
Went 0-2 to start.
They beat the Broncos.
I know.
And they beat the Raiders.
The Broncos have not had the best start to the season either, right? The Broncos have lost at least 2 games this season. The Raiders
didn't look like it last night.
The Broncos and the Chiefs have outstanding defenses. And
listen. The Chiefs, yes, they have good defenses. Their offense was nothing in that first week of the season, right? The Raiders are horrible. The Broncos have been horrible, and they lost to the Chargers, and then they lost to the Giants. There's something here. The Chargers are not as good as I think we make them out to be.
And offense with Patrick Mahomes is not nothing.
Look at
the offense with Jayden Daniels is not nothing, but Patrick Mahomes had nothing at wide receiver. He had Hollywood Brown was his top target. What does Jayden Daniels have at wide receiver?
What you mean?
I'm just saying.
He's got Debo and Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey,
Debo and Mecole Hardman. I'm just saying, you could be right, but I don't think Washington is in a position to go across the country and win a game.
I am right. The Chargers are overrated, and I'm going to take the Chargers to win this week. I think it's going to be 25-22 Chargers. I think Hampton breaks one late. That's just a backbreaker for us. And it's just going to be hard to take. And we're going to be having some uncomfortable conversations way too early in the season. I think that the Commanders will get it together. I don't know that it's going to be this week, though. The Chargers just have too many weapons. I mean, I would have nightmares of Quentin John just running free in our secondary. I mean, Ladd McConkey hasn't even really lit it up this year yet. He could get back on track this week.
He's been open. He's just been dropping passes, but I guess he'll learn how to catch Sunday.
He's a poor man's Luke McCaffrey.
Lattimore will fix that, but we got there's just too many weapons, and we haven't proven the ability to cover any of them. And then Hampton is a giant running the football. That dude, I'd be scared to tackle that dude with everything in my spirit because he is crazy. I saw him run against the Giants. what do you have, like a 72-yard run or something like that, or a 60 or something like that? For as big as he is, that dude was moving, man. And that's going to be problematic because our corners don't really seem to like to engage in the run game too much. We'll see. We'll see who we have healthy at safety too. But all right, Commanders Declassified. This is the first time ever we have all three predicted a loss on this podcast. So season 9,
Shame on
episode
us.
5. Shame on us. Fans, tell us how stupid we are. Get in the comments. Let us know what you think the outcome of the game will be. And we'll talk about it potentially next time. As for now, we appreciate everybody riding with us on social media, at Declassified WFT, at Mike from Southwest, at Eric CDP. Don't know that he knows how to log into that account anymore. That's probably long
I
gone.
don't, but it's there. You can at me all you want. I want you to at me. Please do. I encourage you to at me.
Cuss him out if you like, and he might get email notification about it, but he will not be able to check his mentions. Please also check us out on all audio platforms, Amazon. What is it? Linktree. We're on Linktree. All of our links are there. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And listen, everybody that used to listen to us on the old platforms, just type our name in, go find us. We're there. Yes, we got disconnected from our old feed. Go find us. We're still around. Thank you all. Shout out to the person that mentioned that to me too. We appreciate you riding with us all these years. Everybody else, have a beautiful evening. Subscribe, like, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend. Commanders, let's go. Let's see if we can pull a miracle out on Sunday. We are out of here. Peace.